Just ranting about not getting enough sleep. You know, when you read in the papers that not getting enough sleep causes obesity and all kinds of things.
Well, sometimes it happens. If you check the life generally of how busy one is with activities and
every
all of that.
day, and you keep piling it up. All right, it's time to look at the papers. Of course, this morning, the headlines, and we're being joined by Cyril Abaku, senior researcher at TVC. Good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
I hope you got enough sleep.
Well, did I? I'm not sure I did.
Well, these days, hardly can one get enough sleep. So one way or the other, if you check it, because especially in Lagos.
Yeah. Especially now that
it's
you
difficult.
Yeah, no, of course.
Nursing your baby.
Of course.
Okay, let's get to it. The headlines, let's begin with a punch. National Assembly threatens to invoke its powers against Buhari, and that's over herdsmen killings and alleged harassment of the members of the National Assembly. With the rider, the president must be held accountable for the actions of his appointees and must be ready to sanction those that carry out any act which will ridicule or endanger our country and our democracy. Yeah.
You can find that as the major headline on almost all the papers this morning. I think the demands came in yesterday after the joint session,
of the National
Executive session
of the National Assembly. Not all the senators are on the same page. Perhaps not all the rest members also are on the same page. But I find it a bit patronizing because in the first instance, you will find that they didn't give a timeline to those demands. That's not how it's done. When you make a demand, you put a time to it, because in the long run, it shouldn't be about what we feel about what we see. They are there to protect the interests of the people. We are
and how soon you want to see those
Yes,
changes?
we are practicing a representative democracy. If at all any office holder is guilty of any wrongdoing, then or is indicted, then you lay out the procedure and give a time to it. For instance, Section 143 of the Constitution that talks about the impeachment of either the president or his vice says that, look, once you can get up to I think 1/3 of senators putting that demand into writing, and stating out the particulars of whatever breach,
their grievances,
those grievances, they notify the president, who should reply, and then it goes on and so on and so forth. But in this case, what they have done is that they put out these demands, and they said, look, leave us alone. Let us just go back to status quo. Leave us alone. For me, I think that in the prevailing political...
And they did not use the word impeachment anyway.
No, they did not. But I mean, it's clear.
Yep.
And because this morning I was thinking about this particular thing, and I was like, there is nowhere in the world, or at least in Nigeria, where any coup plotter has ever said that this coup. They always talk about this change of government. It is we who sit back and say there has been a coup d'etat. So when they say we are
no
going to
one agrees there's a coup.
Yes.
Not even in Zimbabwe.
No, they won't.
Okay, let's move on very quickly. There are still other stories begging for our attention. Defense Minister wants anti-grazing laws suspended, and we hear that governments may be considering this, especially in Ekiti, Benue, and Taraba.
No, but again, it will, and these are part of those demands. I think it will amount to dictatorship if the federal government puts pressure. The state governments reserve the autonomy to pass those laws in the first instance. And I think that for me, these killings are going to continue. We're not, Mike, as I've said earlier, we don't have a farmers-herdsmen clashes. I can't recall the last time farmers in Numan, farmers in Nagatu, farmers in, we are attacking herders.
Well, some analysts have called it a misdiagnosis, even calling
exactly.
it
in fact, you took those off my lips. Now, the reason why these killings are going to continue, sadly, is because normally, any policy intervention begins with diagnosing the problem. If you have a misdiagnosis, your policy is going to be wrong. What the defense minister is saying is the same thing that Miyetel has been saying all this while.
Exactly.
And so when government chooses to have a deliberately wrong opinion of the issue, they're going to have equally the wrong solution. Today, we shouldn't be talking about fighting crime.
All right, let's leave it. The other stories. Buhari's medical bills can't be released without his consent, says court, and the CBN seems to toe the same line too. Federal government fulfills housing promise to Bonfrey Joe in 22 years after. Is he still in Nigeria?
Well, of course, he's been
around.
Oh, really? He's been around with Clemens Westerhoff.
Johannes Bonfrey, after he helped us to leave the Olympic gold.
Atlanta 96.
96. All right, we're discovering more gas offshore Lagos, says FG. Banana Island residents protest alleged military invasion. Wele Borotai, of course, it's not the Lagos Banana Island.
Oh, well.
Not
Oh, there's another banana island.
Yes, I think
We could have said whether the rich
Edo or
also
so.
crime, but
Closure to start Nigeria assembly plant in 2019.
We've had it before. Okay, the Nation newspaper now. Lawmakers threaten Buhari, and it has riders here. Senators, reps give 10 conditions. 162 oppose impeachment plan at stormy session. A parliamentary group warns against dragging National Assembly into private matters. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Nigeria safe and secure for tourism, says Buhari. Now, this is one thing that a lot of people are going to say, really? Because
Some
when you
are
hear
already
of
disagreeing.
Boko Haram, you hear of herdsmen.
clashes.
When you're outside Nigeria, it looks like the whole country is burning.
yes. And there is really no, perhaps with the reasonable exception of the Southwest, there is hardly any place in Nigeria today that can boast that kind of ambience. Because you look at the Northwest, they call them bandits, and they are running riot. You come to the North Central, we are calling them Fulani herdsmen, they are running riots.
No, herdsmen, not Fulani.
Okay, herdsmen.
Yeah.
Mike, whatever they are, they're running riots. You go to the Northeast,
Yeah.
Boko Haram still has its hold. So I mean, and all of these things are also having their own humanitarian crisis angle to the whole issue. So the fact is that if the president says that the country is safe, I don't know where really he's referring to. It's not safe yet. We can't, on the score of security, he hasn't done so much.
Because we're still hearing of kidnappings in other parts of the
Kidnappings
country.
and
in
killings.
the southeast and
Yesterday
south.
alone, I think in Nasarawa, 3 policemen were ambushed and killed. They were on their way
Yeah.
to settle, Scott.
Yes.
Then there was another one that I saw just this morning.
Just this-
before,
yeah.
Yes, before I came on the then Nasarawa, Taraba also. About 8 people or more were killed. These killings have, in fact,
All right.
we become psychotic.
Yeah, we have to move on. Sorry.
yeah.
Banks to adopt 360 to a dollar rate for 2018 results. Now, a lot of people were saying, well, the point there is we have to face the reality when it comes to, because when the government adopted 305 and then the banks adopted $330 to naira to a dollar, it looks like there were no realities.
They didn't hit the ground running, which they should have done. We could have devalued early enough, even if it was one more time, so that we can, as they say, so that we can defend
But
our
there are
positions.
some experts have said that
wasn't
if
done.
you allow the naira to really float, we're going to get up to 2,000-3,000 naira to a dollar.
This is the problem. You see, fiscal policy, monetary policy, whatever they don't exist in isolation. You have to have, for instance, we could say that if our manufacturers were having a good one for them, if we're manufacturing properly locally,
Yeah.
it reduces the pressure on importation and reduces the dependence on the dollar.
Absolutely.
That's just one corridor. But we don't have that happening right now. As a matter of fact, the recession also didn't help matters. So the fact is that it's not just a policy in isolation. We need the EG, is it EROGP or
Yeah,
EGRP?
economic recovery and growth plan.
Of course, didn't even come in as early as it should have come. I think it came in about it came midstream. So these are the issues, and of course, any economist will tell you that every economic policy that you put in place, the minimum time it begins to take effect is 6 months. So we're in for a long haul.
Okay.
It is truly a long haul. What else do we have there?
Yeah, no,
okay, you're done with that?
that's- yeah.
Okay, to the Daily Sun. Act or be impeached. National Assembly threatens Buhari. The Daily Sun is reporting that
they
word,
won't.
the I word. Let's leave it because we already treated it. Buhari under fire over Biafra killings claim. Recall President Buhari said that head of state, Yakubu Gowon, actually did not allow them to be too hard on Biafrans.
Well-
And according to people like A.B. Sumosu, former special advisor to Obasanjo, it does not give a true picture of what happened during the Biafra-Nigeria war. About 3 million children actually lost their lives.
The challenge we have is that when we don't properly document history in movies, in books, and so on,
Yeah.
we give room to revisionists. And Mr. President is descending to revisionism. The other day, it was about Nigerian youth. Another time it was about Abacha. And now it's about the Red Cross. We all know that the federal, in fact, somebody who served in Gowon's cabinet said, in war, everything is fair, something like that, right? He said everything in war is fair. The fact is that the Nigerian government then actually blocked humanitarian aid. It was humanitarian crisis that forced Ojukwu actually, you know, to that led to the end of the war. For me, I think that it's not fair. I mean, we saw what happened at Abagana, the Abagana ambush and so on. These things, if you want to put history in the right perspective, let's put it where it is. Today, the average Nigerian is not properly equipped to engage in informed argument or
and the reason why you give accurate
happened,
history too is to prevent a recurrence.
Revisionism,
yeah,
yes.
You know, in future. But
well,
all right,
the point there is all those who wrote books and about the Civil War have written from their point of view or perspective. There hasn't been any official account.
And then again,
now we expect, or Nigerians expect, that mercenaries or international observers, one way or the other, who came in, might have some balance from all sides.
It took the war in Biafra for a French doctor, I think, to say that we need to form something to be called Medicine Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. It was born out of the suffering that he witnessed in Biafra. I mean, there's a whole lot that can be said about it.
And you had people like Apple's Steve Jobs,
that became atheist.
Now.
For me,
because of what happened during the war.
For me, even if Gowon gave such orders, which I do not know if any newspaper even documented it in the 70s or in the 60s, even if he gave such an order, did the soldiers follow up? And after...
Okay. Well, let's leave it. FG moves to suspend anti-grazing laws in Ekiti, Benue, and Taraba states.
They should please look at the cattle issue as an economic problem and see how we can industrialize that sector and become a net exporter of those other things that you know that can come when we process cattle, hide, beef, and so on. If we're not looking at it from that point of, so that we can create jobs and then make sure that if people are going to be investing in cattle rearing, private investors, they can invest and own cattle and not give people a sense of entitlement.
In this country, there has been ranches before. We have enjoyed. In fact, on one of our postal stamps, cattle ranching was one of the prides
absolutely
of Nigeria.
But when in 2018 you have a defense minister saying there's a need for us to begin to review the grazing routes again. I mean...
well, I think... Well, the
forward,
point there is the courts are there to look at these things. A law has been passed by a state House of Assembly, which is legal and is binding, but if it is going to be reviewed and all of that, Let me
say this, and I hope that it is not true. But the defense minister controls troops, and these are the people who are involved in Operation Cat Race, Operation this and Operation that.
Yeah.
I hope that these soldiers have everything they need to halt the herdsmen.
Okay.
Because the fact is that if they are not halted, perhaps the killings continue. Is it that these killings will now twist the governors into amending these laws or what?
It is not if. There has been continued killings, and certainly in Benue and parts of this state it's been going on. Let's run through these things so we can... This day newspaper, National Assembly threatens Buhari over persecution of opponents, insecurity, other issues. And they have a rider there. PDP lawmakers allegedly collate signatures to impeach president. Loyalists vow to block attempt. And resolutions not endorsed by APC members, says group. Supporters urge Saraki to declare presidential ambition. Well, we've talked about that. The defense minister pushes for suspension of anti-grazing law. We've talked about that. And then Okorocha, Abe, Onyema, Shitu, others lose out as APC ratifies state congresses. The paradigm seems to be shifting.
And again, I think, in fact, the ground itself is shifting.
But like someone like they said, this table you are shaking. This table you are shaking.
But I think that someone pointed out to me yesterday.
Yes.
It appears that the shaking is being is premeditated.
Okay.
Because, you know, I mean, for everything that happens politically, favors some and does not favor others. But it appears
shifting
that
from one side and moving to the other side.
But I think with what is going on, these shakings appear to favor a particular section of the party. Of course, the other day, even Adoyegu now come out to say that, look, I'm no longer running for the chairmanship of the party. I think
and he's already being accused of trying to destroy the party before he leaves as chairman.
So I think there's a script somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Nigeria clears $600 million airlines trapped funds. And British Airways, Delta confirmed clearance of blocked funds. Of course, this happened during the recession when foreign airlines were not able to take out their funds. Thankfully, we've been able to do that now.
I think only Ethiopia Air was able to get its funds then.
Okay, of course, National Assembly threatens to impeach Buhari. What else do we have here? FG docks Securities and Exchange Commission DG over alleged 104 million naira fraud. Scholarship fraud rocks Amnesty office. Court, CBN can't disclose cost of Buhari's treatment abroad, and herders kill 3 policemen, 8 farmers in Nasarawa State. Okay, let's just repeat what we started with. Sleep loss could cause obesity and diabetes.
So sleep well, at least
Try and
8
get
hours.
enough sleep.
If you have 9 hours, fine. The Vanguard newspaper is the last one here. National Assembly draws battle line with Buhari. We talked about that. That's just talking about the executive and legislature face-off. It issues a 12-point resolution on state of the nation. It charges president to address killing of Nigerians, threat to democracy. And, well, those are some of the headlines.
How fragile is
today.
Nigeria's democracy really? When you have, you know, all kinds of things going on, is it really a threat to Nigeria's democracy?
No, of course
Or does
it is.
it further help strengthen and deepen it?
No, it doesn't deepen it because, you see, I think in 2001 or 2, Wole Soyinka delivered a lecture where he said that we had not returned to democracy. We had only returned to a civil government. That is important. Democracy is not just democracy because it is called a democracy. It is democratic because of the practices within the system. Now, why it is fragile for me because, you see, in the end, the demands are made and the demands are met. They only favor a particular few.
Group, not the overall.
In the end, they only favor a particular few. They are saying that, look, you are intimidating us, you are harassing us. Fine, the police IG, the same method through to Shehu Sani.
Do we agree with Fela's definition of democracy?
That it is what?
Demonstration of it's okay. Well, that's another that's an argument for another day. But however, the point is, they have always said, analysts, political scientists have all said that one way or the other, the democracy was truncated by the military, and it took Nigeria back about 200 years, as the case may be. Because the mistakes now, the teething problems, the issues right now were things that should have been experienced in the 70s and early 80s, so that the democracy would have been building and maturing and finding its feet.
Mike, okay, for instance, now you see, in a democracy, the symbol of democracy is parliament. In a military government, you have the executive arm and the judiciary. Okay, part of the work of the National Assembly of Parliament is to check the executive arm of government. Now, MDAs, when they invite a police IG, refuses to come. When they summon this person, the person refuses to come. What do you do? There is no one single way of practicing this thing everywhere in the world.
So should we begin to think of our own?
Of course we should.
There
are nuances between Canada, Germany, and the US.
And even
and even India. India does not even have the word freedom in their constitution. Shock you. But they practice a nearly confederal system. But they don't even have the word freedom in their constitution. The fact is this, look, when you summon people like the IG of police and refuse to come, why don't you amend the law to say that, for instance, you see, you pass a law. If Mr. President refuses to assent it, after a particular period of time, it comes back to National Assembly, and if you vote, it becomes law, isn't it? So why don't you say, if we summon someone and the person refuses to come, after a period of time, he will lose his seat. It will compel them to come, but when you don't do that...
But the National Assembly, if they do that now, you'll be sending wrong signals.
Mike, there will not be a better time to do it.
No.
Because
we have to be sensitive to Nigeria. Nigeria is, like you said, every country is so different. The point there is, let us face it. The timing of so many things can make or mar an issue. Do you understand?
Are you not worried?
You can do the right thing at the wrong time.
Nigerians are all worried. But the point there is, optimism and hope in the system has kept Nigerians going through the military days until now.
Nigerians don't love this IG of police. I have to say it. I'm sorry.
Really?
I mean,
you think so?
You can look at everything that he's been doing since he came into office. I'm not sure he enjoys the sympathy of Nigerians. My take is as simple as this. If the IG of police invited Saraki to come, the VP intervenes. IG backs and says, no, okay, don't come, you can put it in writing. It's already politicized in the first instance. And institutional autonomy, which is supposed to be the hallmark of democracy, is being compromised. So what better time do you need to bring about...
So I wonder what kind of democracy we can evolve in the light of all of this.
Until we begin to put
such to all sides.
So fine, let us begin with the first thing. Put the first foot forward. Seek to amend certain laws. And then make sure that if those who are supposed to enforce them don't enforce them, you hold them to account. Until you do that, in this same country, Obasanjo took a Rufai to go and apologize to the National Assembly because of... So if we have lost, if I've lost respect for institutions, our democracy is compromised.
Well, the point there is people will see from the different perspectives
yeah.
as far as that is concerned. But thank you very much, Cyril Abaku, for
My
coming
pleasure,
on the
Mike.
program.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Anytime.
much.
Thank
Right.
you.